Welcome back to another episode of Talking Sports with your boy DP. And this your boy DP is your dog. Listen, we back again with these college football picks, you feel me? Week 10 is up. It's a big weekend for some of these teams. A lot on the line. Playoff spots, conference contender spots. All that is on the line this weekend. Somewhat, you feel me? It's finna get busy, it's finna get real. We're gonna talk about some of these games. I'm gonna give y'all some of my picks for week 10. Cause your boy, he doing kind of nice this year. I'm 19-6 on the season, you feel me? Yes, 19-6. And to let y'all know, I'm picking the outright winner. I ain't picking against the spread. So don't be mad at me saying, oh man, you ain't no 19-6. No, I'm picking the outright winner. So as for me picking the outright winner, I'm 19-6. Now, if I was picking against the spread, I might be mediocre because sometimes I don't get the spread right every time. Because I might mention the spread, or the point favorite for the most part. But let's go ahead and get into this thing, man. We got the largest cocktail party coming up in Jacksonville, Florida. We got the Florida Gators, 4-3 on the season, coming up against the Georgia Bulldogs, 6-1 on the season, the number 2 ranked team in the nation. Georgia coming in this game a 16.5 point favorite. Now, talk about Florida offense a little bit. Florida offense coming in this game averaging 413 total yards per game, 263 passing, 149 rushing, and averaging 30 points per game. Now, Florida, honestly, this is not the same Florida Gator team that we've seen when they played the Miami Hurricane. They found a little rhythm. And Billy Napier, he still has the locker room, seem like. Those guys want to play for him and fight for him. My only problem with this game, Florida, they got 9 players out with injury. You feel me? They got a lot of key players. Well, I ain't going to say a lot of key players, but they got some key players missing. I don't think Montreal Johnson is going to be playing this game. And I don't think Eugene Wilson going to be playing in this game. So I don't know, can Florida make up for those guys not being out here? I don't know if they have enough. They were looking good this year. And then again, too, I don't see Kirby Smart losing to a freshman quarterback. DJ Ladway, he looking good out here. As of now, DJ Ladway got 1,024 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and 5 INTs, 34 carries, 96 yards. And he's been sacked 6 times on the season. Florida offensive line is not looking that good. Well, really haven't been looking the best this year. They've been looking pretty mediocre, let's just say that. But you don't want to look mediocre against a defensive line like the Georgia Bulldogs got. But Florida defense, they're allowing 370 yards per game, giving up 206 passing, giving up 164 rushing, and allowing 23 points per game. And Montreal Johnson, he's questionable, but Jaden Bodge, listen. Not Jaden Bodge, Jaden Barr, freshman running back from Florida. I think they found something with this young man. He out there getting busy, man. As of now, he got 53 carries, 259 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4.9 yards per carry. So Jaden Barr, he might be taking over a lot of the carries for Montreal Johnson Jr. because he's questionable for this game. They don't know if he's going to return. But if he is able to go, that would be a key piece that Florida needs in this game. Because he's coming into the season with 70 carries, 373 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. But for Florida to be able to have a chance in this game, I feel like they have to find some way to create a run attack the best they can. Because you can't let Georgia get after DJ Ladway. That's what they want to do. They're going to try to disguise coverages. They're going to try to hide blitzes, and they're going to try to get after DJ Ladway. And Billy Napier, you got to do your best job you can to protect your quarterback because the offensive line, is kind of shaky up here in Gainesville. So, with that being said, I don't know if Florida is going to be able to keep it close like I thought they would have, prior to some of the injuries they had, which 16.5 points, that's to me personally, the way Carson Beck been playing lately, I feel like 16.5 points is a little too many points. Because Carson Beck, last few games, he's not been looking, you feel me, how he was last year. Let's just say that. He kind of threw his way out of the first round, if we want to be honest. He's not looking like that first round draft pick. I don't say this before. I don't say this a couple of times. So If Carson Beck go out here and Georgia have to depend on him to throw the ball, he could still possibly have a good game, because Florida Gators, I want to say they got 3 defensive backs missing right now in this game. So the secondary is looking kind of, suspect. And the Gators got a 94th ranked run defense. So Georgia should be able to try to take advantage of that and let Trevor Etienne get off today. Let Trevor Etienne go ham. Let him, do his thing. Trevor Etienne on the season, 82 carries, 422 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, 5.1 yard per carry, 20 receptions, 130 receiving yards, and 6.5 yards per catch. So, man, if I'm Georgia, I'm trying to let Trevor Etienne get busy this game. Let him get some get back on the Florida Gators for trying him and not having him as a starter. Maybe they ain't tried him. Maybe he just wanted to be in a better situation, and maybe he wanted to get a chance to win a natty or something. Maybe that's what it was. But Georgia offense coming into this game, averaging 427 yards per game, 297 passing, 130 rushing, and giving up 33 points per game. Now, how does this compare to the Florida D? Like I said, even though Georgia only averaging 130 yards rushing, I feel like they gotta try to attack the Florida Gator defense with their run game. Because if you depend on Carson Beck and let him put y'all guys in bad situations, you're gonna keep this scrappy Florida team in this game, and you don't want that to happen. You want to come here, take care of business in Jacksonville, and get out of there with a W. You don't want this thing to get out of hand and you guys, have turnovers or empty drives, empty possessions, because Carson Beck can't get the job done. So you guys got to tighten up. Georgia defense coming in this game allowing 304 yards per game, giving up 197 passing, and only giving up 107 rushing on the season, allowing 16 points per game. Now, Carson Beck, as of right now, has 1,993 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 8 INTs, and has been sacked 7 times. But the people that are really going to have an effect on this game the most is going to be Jalen Walker and Mekhi Williams. Let's be honest. Jalen Walker coming in this game with 30 tackles, 4.5 sacks. And Mekhi Williams, he was injured, I want to say, the first couple of games of the season. He's been back, played in 4 games so far with 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. These guys are going to be able to get after it. Florida offensive line is missing 2 offensive linemen as is. And these guys are just ready to get after DJ Ladway. And if they don't get after him, their presence just calls so much respect that you might be able to scheme another defensive back or a guy that you're not thinking coming, and he can come open free because they so focused on Mekhi Williams and Jalen Walker. Now, I done lost a lot of trust in Georgia Bulldogs offense so far this season. So I'm going to pick Georgia Bulldogs to win, but I don't think they're going to cover. You feel me? I think Florida Gators going to be able to keep it close if Billy Napier be able to protect DJ Ladway, get the ball out the young man's hands quickly, and run the ball at the best of your ability. Do not give up on the run game, because if you give up on the run game, you're going to play right into the Georgia Bulldogs' hands. Next game up. Get a water break before I go to talking. I'm getting cotton mouth already. We got the University of Pittsburgh coming in this thing undefeated, ranked 18 on the season. And we got SMU coming in this thing, I want to say 7-1. Only lost to an undefeated BYU. Let's talk about this thing, man. This means a lot for the ACC contender race, if you want to be honest. If Pittsburgh knock off SMU, then SMU is out of the conference race, I feel like. Maybe. They still have a chance. Only one conference loss, that don't mean much. But if SMU come out here and get this W, they will still be undefeated in the conference and have Pitt with a loss in the conference. So who is going to get their first conference loss this game? Who's it going to be? Pittsburgh had a beautiful defensive performance their last time out, and we seen SMU couldn't take care of the football their last time out. So we got Pittsburgh offense coming there, averaging 443 total yards per game, 282 passing, 160 rushing, averaging 40 points per game. The defense allowing 349 yards per game, giving up 255 passing, giving up 93 rushing, and allowing 22 points per game. Eli Holstein, the young freshman quarterback, was balling in the beginning of the season. He's been struggling lately. And surprisingly, it seemed like Pittsburgh been having a tough time protecting the young man. The young man been sacked 14 times as of now. It's getting crazy out there for him. But Eli Holstein got 1,805 yards on the season, 17 passing touchdowns, and 5 INTs, 62 carries, 286 yards rushing, and 3 rushing TDs, 4.6 yards per carry. So he's taking advantage of using his legs also, and I like to see that, man. And we got that young man from Miami Gardens, Desmond Reed. Shout out to Desmond Reed, man. On the season, 89 carries, 541 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 6.1 yards per carry. And there's more. 25 receptions, 341 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, and 13.6 yards per catch. The man nearly responsible for damn 900 on total yards. Got a little bit of about 860 something total yards on the year. So you see who the playmaker is for Pittsburgh. You see who they want to find. See who they're getting that ball to. And Desmond Reed been out there taking advantage of his opportunities, making stuff happen when he can. So don't let the size fool you. He may be a short young man. He may not be the biggest. He might not be a threat when you look at him physically. But best believe he can get busy on that football field. But the two people I want to talk about for the Pittsburgh team, they play on their defense. And it's these Pittsburgh linebackers. First up, Kyle Lewis, 60 tackles on the season, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 3 INTs. The next up, man, we got Rasheem Biles with 52 tackles, 4 sacks, and 1 INT. These Pittsburgh linebackers have been balling all season, and they've been playing at a high level. They really is the reason Pittsburgh been able to go. Pittsburgh normally has a good defensive line, and you put 2 linebackers like this behind that, you can see why Pittsburgh is undefeated, especially with the offense being able to get some kind of production when they can. But last week, the defense became the offense with 3 INTs for a tuggy, baby. And Pittsburgh also coming in this game with the 9th ranked rushing defense in the nation and the 111th ranked passing defense in the nation, though. So SMU has a chance to attack Pittsburgh through the air from what I see with their rankings. But one of the key things that make SMU offense go is their running attack. So if SMU have a struggle running the ball this game, might be an easy win for Pittsburgh. Let's get into SMU a little bit, man. And I forgot to say, SMU is ranked number 20th in the country. SMU offense coming in here averaging 443 total yards per game, 242 passing, 201 rushing, and 39 points per game. Now, me personally, I feel like this is going to be one of the best matchups they have faced other than the Duke game. Duke gave them a little competition, and BYU beat them. So me not forgetting about BYU. Besides BYU, this is the best conference matchup SMU has played so far. Let me say it that way. And SMU defense allowing 327 yards per game, giving up 238 passing, and only giving up 88 rushing yards per game, allowing 21 points per game. So we're going to see if Pittsburgh can be able to run the ball. Now, mind you, Pittsburgh can also utilize Desmond Reed in the passing game too, so they don't just have to be neutralized to using him just in the run. And Pittsburgh got other running backs that can get hard-fought yardage if they need it. So we're going to see how good this SMU defense really is. If they're able to shut down Pittsburgh run game and leave it in the hands of Eli Holstein, SMU might pull this thing off. But Kevin Jennings coming off a rough arm game last week with 1,594 passing yards on the season, 10 touchdowns, 5 INTs, and 67 carries, 321 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Sacked 6 times on the season. So Kevin Jennings, we got to get this young man to take care of the ball better, man. What we seen at Duke, bless you. bless me. What we seen that Duke, gotta step it up. Because the interception that you threw and the fumbles that you had against Duke, Pittsburgh is the type of team that's going to take advantage of those opportunities. So you can't give those guys extra possessions, or you will find yourself behind in this game with a loss also. But let me give my dog credit. Rashad Smith, running back for SMU, 117 carries on the season, 745 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns, and 6.4 yards per carry. 18 receptions, 169 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Now, mind you, I like this SMU defense, man. This SMU defense, they play dirty. They play, I ain't gonna say dirty as in they break the rules, but they play dirty as in like just a swagger type ordeal. They play with swagger, they play with aggression, they play with ruthlessness, you feel me? They got 17 sacks on the season, 12 INTs, and 7 forced fumbles. Now, what I will say about SMU though with this game, Kevin Jennings could be questionable. He had a little knee injury in the game against Duke. I don't know how serious it was or how serious it isn't, but he's questionable. So I don't know if Preston Stone is able to go or will be ready, or is his mental, still in go time, go mode, or Kevin Jennings might go out there and perform. We don't know. But one of SMU's top receivers, the tight end RJ Maryland, he's out for this game. He won't be there, and there's a few other SMU players that's out for this game. I don't know how much that will affect SMU, but I don't think they are as healthy as they was in the beginning of the season. So let me get the point spread, because I didn't even get that. That's crazy. Let me do that real quick while y'all vibe to the beat, Let me get that while y'all ride to the beat. I thought I had put it down, but I guess I was tripping. Okay, they got SMU a 7.5 point favorite in this game. I want to pick SMU, but I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh, man. Everybody down in Pittsburgh. I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh to win. Now I don't know if they're gonna cover the 7 points, but I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh to win by like a field goal. Let's just say that. Pittsburgh get W by the field goal. I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh because, man, I just like that Pittsburgh defense, man. A lot of time defense win championships, and they got an offense that can score points if they need them to. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and this is not necessarily a limb, but it's really a coin flip game if you want to be honest. But I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh, man. I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh to win. I think they're gonna win by 3 points, man. So let me get a water break before I start this one. This is an interesting matchup to me. I just added it. I don't know how other people may feel about this matchup, but it was interesting to me. You feel me? We got the Texas Tech Raiders coming in this game 5-3 versus Iowa State 7-0, ranked number 11 in the nation. Coming in this game a 13.5 point favorite. Now this game right here, if y'all want to see a lot of offense, if y'all want to see a whole bunch of touchdowns being scored, tune into this game. Because it's going to be some points scored in this thing here, baby. I'm trying to tell you. Texas Tech offense, the best offense in the Big 12. Coming in here averaging 457 total yards per game. Damn. 288 passing, 168 rushing, scoring 38 points per game. Defense allowing 465 yards per game. Defense allowing 465 yards per game. That is stink. That's horrible. You gotta get that out of there, boy. Ooh, whoa. That stink, Texas Tech. They allowing everybody to do anything they want. They the second worst in the Big 12 when it comes to defense, man. They letting everybody score points. They let everybody get yards. They just letting everybody do whatever they want to when it comes to playing against them. But what I will say, If your ass can't score no points yourself, you're gonna have some trouble. They might give up some points. But if you can't score and make them touchdowns and you get them the ball back, they got a good chance of scoring that ball. Their offense is high powered. But they giving up 308 yards passing per game and giving up 157 rushing, allowing 36 points per game. Damn, Texas Tech, that stinks. Ben Morton, quarterback for Texas Tech, on the season with 2,063 passing yards, 17 passing touchdowns, and 3 INTs. Sacked 10 times on the season, so I'm seeing they having trouble protecting my boy. But we got the man with the plan, ready to run anybody over that getting his way. Taj Brooks, running back for Texas Tech, coming in the season with 179 carries, 925 rushing yards, 9 TDs, and 5.2 yards per carry. And that boy Josh Kelly, this Cam Ward homeboy from Washington State, out here balling at Texas Tech with 60 receptions, 609 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, and 10.1 yards per catch. And he got his teammate, his fellow wide receiver, Caleb Douglas, let me say my dog name right, with 39 receptions on the season, 559 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, and 4.3 yards per catch. Now, what I will say about this defensive team with the Red Raiders, Texas Tech University, they got a lot of defensive back out, man. They got a lot of key defensive players out as a whole. They got 6 defensive players out with injuries, and they're the 16th ranked scoring offense in the nation. So I told you these boys able to put up some points, man. They 20th ranked in passing, they 57th ranked in rushing. So that's probably like the middle of the road in the country, if you want to say that. But let's talk about this Iowa State team, man. Iowa State coming in this game averaging 437 total yards per game, giving up this offense, they averaging 251 passing yards and 186 rushing yards, 31 points per game. Defense allowing 304 yards per game, giving up 133 passing and giving up 170 rushing, allowing 14 points per game. Now the defense nice, but some of the competition that Iowa State have played to this point haven't been that good. But what I will say to their credit, they played a Baylor team, handled them with no problem. The same Baylor team that Texas Tech lost to. But when it comes to college football, you can't be out here saying just because this team lost to that team, they gonna beat this team. No, college football don't work like that. Because sometimes matchups can win games also. And I think honestly this might be a matchup problem for Iowa State. I think Texas Tech offense is explosive enough to, spare the defense out, steal some drives away from Iowa State, and that offense is explosive enough to come away with something big, especially if you run Taj Brooks. Because Iowa State, they have a little trouble stopping the run. They're not that good at it. So if you run this ball and let Taj Brooks go ham, you might have a big day. You might have an upset for the Red Raiders. But Rocco Beck, quarterback for Iowa State, 1,712 yards per game, 1,712 yards on the season. I'm sorry, talking about per game. 11 touchdowns, 5 INTs, 47 carries, 152 yards rushing, and 4 rushing touchdowns. Sacked 7 times on the year. Carson Hansen, the running back for Iowa State, 70 carries, 398 rushing yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns, 5.7 yards per carry. And Jalen Noel with 37 receptions, 681 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 18.4 yards per catch. Now I can't leave out Jaden Higgins because he also been balling out there at the wide receiver courts with 45 receptions, 563 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, and 12.5 yards per catch. But what I will say, why I say this is a matchup problem also for Iowa State, because Texas Tech quarterback Morton, he's able to pass the ball a little bit and fire his wide receivers, and Texas Tech is able to run the ball. Now, mind you, Iowa State has the second best pass defense in the nation. but they haven't played that many good quarterbacks, if we be honest. This is probably one of the best quarterbacks they're going to end up playing. And then in the entire season, the Iowa State defense has only been able to come up with 9 sacks on the year. So they haven't been really getting that much pressure on the quarterback. So if you give Morton time, and you can't stop the run that good, because they got the 99th ranked rush defense in the nation, you're going to have trouble stopping this Texas Tech offense, man. So they got Iowa State 13.5 point favorite. I'm going with Texas Tech to win for the upset. I don't know if Texas Tech gonna cover the 13.5 points. So I say Texas Tech win this thing by 7 or 10 points. Let's say it like that. But I'm going with Texas Tech for the W. They're gonna run that ball. They're gonna move it down the field with the offensive passing attack. And I don't know if Iowa's seen an offense this explosive yet this year. So with that being said, you feel me? I'm going with the Red Raiders, baby. Last game up, before I get into it and get me a little water. We got Ohio State Buckeyes coming in here and ranked number 4 in the nation, 6-1 on the year, going up against Penn State, number 3 in the nation, 7-0 on the year. Now this is a big game for the Big Ten. We're going to see who's going to be in the Big Ten contender race. Because if Ohio State loses this game, they out of here. They out. 2 conference losses. I don't think you're going to get in there with that. You used to have to worry about Michigan. Now you got Ohio State and Oregon going to be thorns in your side. You feel me? Which I respected. I always wanted the Big Ten to add more competition. But Ohio State always had little easy cakewalks here and there. And people say, oh man, I don't like when people say this team ain't good and that team ain't good, or they ain't played nobody this, that, and the third. Well, some teams play better a certain season, and some teams ain't that good a certain season. Like last year, a person couldn't say, oh, FSU ain't nobody. But this year, shit, you can say that. They ain't nobody. They 1-7. So, with that being said, Ohio State offense coming in here averaging 471 total yards per game, passing 283 yards per game, rushing 188 yards per game, 40 points per game. Defense allowing 254 yards per game, giving up 163 passing, and only giving up 91 rushing yards per game, allowing 11 points per game. Will Howard, 1,795 yards per game, 17 touchdowns, 4 INTs, 41 carries, 91 rushing yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns. Have been sacked 5 times also. I've been hearing Ohio State been having O-line trouble, O-line issues, and they lost 2, they missing 2 offensive linemen also that's out with injuries. And I've been hearing it's been affecting their run game. They haven't been able to run the ball as effectively as they have in past years or in the beginning of the season, if we want to say that. Could this be a problem for Ohio State against Penn State? It most definitely could be a problem. But it's just so many weapons there that it's hard for me to go against them, man. I said the same thing when they played Oregon, and Oregon ended up getting the W. But Oregon got Dylan Gabriel. And it's a possibility that Drew Aller might not even play this game. Penn State might have to go with their backup. So, with that being said, it's a good chance I'm leaning towards Ohio State. Quinshon Judkins coming into the game with 81 carries, 520 rushing yards, 6 rushing TDs, 6.4 yards per carry. And Travion Henderson coming in this thing with 62 carries, 449 rushing yards, 4 TDs, and 7.2 yards per carry. And the freshman phenom, Jeremiah Smith, 35 receptions, 623 yards, 8 touchdowns, 17.8 yards per catch. And we can't forget about Ubuke, man. That's why I say Ohio State got so many weapons to where the offensive line injuries, yeah, it can affect them. But I don't know, man. I just think the playmakers are going to make plays, man. Ohio State defense is good enough to hold you know, keep a leash on Penn State for the most part, man. And then we got Coach James Franklin coming in here. We all know that James Franklin beat the team he's supposed to beat. We know he loses against the team he's supposed to lose to. Well, this year the roles are kind of reversed because Penn State is ranked higher than Ohio State. So if James Franklin loses this game, would y'all say he was supposed to lose this game, or would y'all say he was supposed to win this game? Now, this is probably his best chance to get the W with the inefficiencies that Ohio State been having at the offensive line. But I don't know. It's hard for me to trust Penn State. Penn State offense coming in the game averaging 463 total yards per game, giving up 266 passing, allowing 100. I'm talking about giving up. This offense, they averaging 266 passing, and they got 197 rushing yards per game. 33 points per game averaging for the Penn State offense. I was everywhere. I'm fumbling. I don't know what I got going on, man. Recover the fumble, DP. Get it back. Okay, let's get it. The defense allowing 267 yards per game, giving up 174 passing. And the Penn State rush defense also been looking stank out there. I ain't gonna say stank. They've been biting. Let me rechange my slogan. They've been biting out there. They've been out there hitting, laying that wood. They only giving up 93 yards rushing, just like Ohio State only giving up 91 yards. And Penn State only allowing 14 points per game. Now, I told you Drew Aller is questionable. He coming in the season 1,640 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 4 INTs, 34 carries, 129 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Sacked 7 times on the season. If Drew Aller can't go, I don't have much trust in Penn State. Even though the backup quarterback came in, he looked decent, he looked good, but I don't know. Because both of these teams, they stopping the run. They good against the run. But you got Nicholas Singleton here, running back, coming in here with Penn State. 75 carries, 483 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 6.4 yards per carry. And he's also a threat in the passing game. 13 receptions, 150 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns, 11.5 yards per catch. What kind of game plan can Penn State go out here if Drew Aller is not ready? I'm talking about Tyler. Drew Aller is not ready to go and can't go. Because you got Tyler Warren here, Weapon X, one of the best tight ends in the country. Maybe you utilize him. 47 receptions, 559 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, 11.9 yards per catch. And also, besides the Drew Aller being, questionable for this game, you got 14 other players that's questionable to go. So I don't know how healthy Penn State is to come out here and win this game and get a W over Ohio State. I don't know. I don't know if they can get the job done. I don't trust James Franklin that much against Ohio State. I don't trust the fact that Drew Aller can't go. I don't trust the fact you got 13 other players that's questionable. And then both teams are good stopping the run. So with that being said, they got Ohio State a 3.5 point favorite. I'm picking Ohio State. And I'm picking Ohio State to cover. You feel me? So give me the Buckeyes, baby. Even though I don't like them. They robbed us in 2002. Go Canes. But they're my picks for week 10, you feel me? Hopefully we get some exciting football in week 10. And we're going to do what it do. We're going to see how I look out here. See if I look crazy or if I know what I'm talking about. But with that being said, like, share, subscribe, comment, call me ugly, do all that, And it's all about you. And we got this thing, baby. Go Canes.